Hi, everyone. Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room and taken to the basement room, the arms room, where they took his life and they didn't respect his body, no. Um, so our evidence, gosh, it never gets easy. Um, well, we know that he fought hard and that the perpetrator, one of the perpetrators, had to have emergency dental uh, surgery, um, emergency dental work done. And, but Richard lost his life and they took his body and um, dismembered, stole it off of Fort Bliss, and trafficked his body to Juarez for disposal, where evidence indicates they even harvested his organs. And so here we are, over 5 years later, um, providing the providing the leads. The CID said, we can't help you unless you provide us the leads. That's when they were telling us that Richard was just missing, when they knew all along what happened to him, because they had the seal on the door, y'all. They had the seal on the door and the door of the arms room, of the basement room. They had the seal on the door, and um, DES Thomas Kane confirmed that General Eisenhower, James Eisenhower, made an illegal order by ordering that arms room to be renovated with no expense spared, and that they did not have to go through protocols, just do it, and it didn't matter how much it cost. Because you see, they were protecting the trafficking, the cartel trafficking network there, um, and put the criminals before the U.S. Army soldier. Okay, they put the criminals before national security. They put the criminals before and their pocketbooks, right? Because they're compromised um, before their duty, before their oath. And so to us, they just said, well, we can't help you. You have to bring forth leads. So that's what we've been doing. They told us to investigate ourselves, bring them leads. So that's what we're doing. I don't know if they'll ever say that to anybody ever again. I don't know. I don't know. But it really is a little bit mind blowing to know how deep, how wide, um, that this, how tall this whole scam, whole criminal network is, and who they were targeting. And so we have a lot of breaking news, and I'll go through the breaking news because it's just so much to tell you all every day. Well, today we heard that in the Charlie Kirk case, um, number one, that we were hearing that Erica Kirk was suing this meme, right? This this meme, this video meme that was going on about how a conservative woman acts, right? And uh, that she was threatening and suing, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, wait a minute. Erica Kirk, came out just what was it, a week later, 11 days later, after her husband was brutally in front of the cameras killed, and looked to the heavens and said, I forgive him, talking about the person that is charged with or implicated, or I guess he surrendered, or that he did it. Um, it's all allegedly. But she's like, I forgive him, like it was a done deal. It was so weird. It was so weird to me. It was so weird, and red flags went up because I mean, it was just days later, and she didn't know. She didn't know. And here we have it today that the bullet doesn't even match. The bullet doesn't even match. What matches is the playbook of the Mormon faction, right? The internal cover of this, and clearly the internal orchestration of this. I don't think that you have to go to a foreign country to find out who targeted Charlie Kirk. I think it was right here at home, and I think it was very close to home, very close, because look at the cover. Can you imagine if a foreign country did this? Um, there would not be the responses that we see. The responses that we see is a internal orchestration. Okay. And how do I know that? Because in our son's case, the same reaction, the same playbook. And in the Walmart mass shooting, the same playbook. In Julio Cordero's case, the same playbook. In the um, attempts on President Trump's life, the same playbook. So it's the same playbook, therefore it's the same team. You can well, we have more evidence that corroborates that it's the same team. So um, yeah. So if you solve one, you're going to solve. Thank you, Laura, for coming on so late. Um, yeah, if you solve one, you're gonna solve them all. Julio Cordero's, the Walmart mass shooting, Richard Halliday, Charlie Kirk, and the attempts on President Trump. And yeah, so absolutely, there's no doubt in my mind. And you see that with this whole coverage of Tyler Robinson, right? Um, very, gosh, so suspicious. Nothing makes sense except for that it's a cover up, and that's the playbook. That's the playbook is deception, being an imposter, and a cover up. And so and it's internal. It's people that are in the FBI, in security business, in intelligence business. Um, it's very clear that this is an internal, and it just really makes you wonder why we pay our taxes, right? Because the internal is what is causing us so many problems. And I hate to say that because I'm not really an anarchist, but right now I just can't say that especially with the $39 trillion def, debt on our shoulders. Why are we paying these taxes, right? Why are we paying them? So that's just my question. I just, when you see what's inside the courts, the judges, when you see what's inside the DA's office, like James 2028 stamp Montoya, when you see who's in the um, that 2028 stamp came from the county clerk's office, right? So when you see inside the county clerk's office and the manipulation of birth certificates and death certificates and all of that, when you see all the tampering with documents and everything, when you see what's happening in the Senate right now, in the Congress right now, they can't even agree that citizens should, have to prove that they are citizens in order to vote, right? That citizens are the only ones that should vote. I mean, that's just established since uh, beginning of time, right? You have to be scrutinized if you get a laying on of hands or a vote in anything. Um, yeah, and now we're going to hear what the Supreme Court says about babies born from illegals in this country. Are they then American citizens? And if you're here illegally and you have a baby, should they get citizenship? So this is what is going to be argued in court. And it seems like everything, and it is, Richard's the key to everything. Seems everything is connected to Richard's case, to Richard. He's the key to everything. And this is no different because what we have with the Alejandra sisters, so you have Miriam Guadalupe, she goes by Pita, and then you have Alejandra de la Vega. What you see with them is a real question of where were they born? Where were they born? Were they born in El Paso? Were they born in Mexico? What's going on with the birth certificates? What's going on with their nationality? Because they are public servants. We would like to know. And because they are public servants, we have the right to know and who we're paying our taxes to, right? We have a right to know their background, their assets. Can you imagine if Trump said, "Oh, I'm not going to disclose my assets to you"? Uh, are you kidding me? But that's exactly what Alejandra de la Vega did. Um, and she took on positions in the Mexican government as well as the United States and Texas, um, gubernatorial appointee for both Greg Abbott and Javier Corral at the same time. At the same time and w- and you would think when you have those kinds of appointments that it's very clear where she was born at and uh, where she's a citizen at, but this is like a dual citizen, dual operative, dual birth certificates. How do you be born twice? Can you come out of the womb twice? Gosh, that was a question in the Bible too. Can you be born twice? Um, you know, uh, there's a real question on that. And why is that a question? Because Alejandro de la Vega served on two, not just one, but two really important intelligence, one's finance, one's intelligence, where she has access to the Mexican FBI and police and the border guards and all of that, all of the intelligence agencies and policing law enforcement agencies. That was the board that she was on. And from our research, and someone out there, God bless you if you're from Mexico and you know about all of this, it seems uh, to be Mexican law that if you are sitting on those very sensitive commissions or boards or I need to look what they call that in Mexico. But when you are molding and influencing security issues, intelligence issues, law enforcement issues, I think that in Mexico you're required to be born in Mexico. Okay, they have a little bit harder um, uh, uh, qualifications when it comes to things, when it comes to sitting on a board that has to do with national security and intelligence and um, And it finances too, because you can absolutely ruin a country through the finances. And I think she got caught in a scandal with 12 million pesos. 12 million, not 1 million, not 5 million, not 6 million, not 8 million, not 10 million, 12 million. So a dozen millions. Um, she got caught. Uh, yeah, and then we have uh, she got caught, and it seems like there is some real questions about her past, right? Her past, and that is important for Richard's case because um, she's suspected. She's suspected. So her sister is in the same boat because she also is a public servant. And yeah, it would be nice to have the proper information because what's out there is really making them look shady, making them look really, really shady. And, because you can't be born uh, in two places at one time, right? I mean, unless you're right on the border or something, I, so something really fishy is going on. So let's look at, make sure I cover everything, which leads to the El Paso mayor. Talk about getting scrutiny for officials. We have Renard Johnson's brother. Um, the hustler, the absolute hustler for preseason Ponzi play, um, pleading guilty, pleading guilty. And when all that came down, right in the middle of his candidacy, how does that happen? How can you? And because the reason why I'm asking it is because Renard Johnson was in business with his brother. So if he's in business with his brother, how can he just say, "Oh, I'm estranged and so it doesn't count." No, you're in business with him and he pleads guilty to a preseason Ponzi scam play. Yeah, this begs a lot of questions, and it just shows you that right now all the scrutiny that they used to not have upon themselves, that they could get away with it, has come now. So the scrutiny has come to El Paso. Absolutely. That's what I wanted to say for this. And we'll be watching this more closely. Um, and of course, we have this video here. Um, if you haven't seen it, this is Tyler Johnson. He's the supposed suspect in Charlie Kirk's death. And here he is in court, and he's just happy as anything. Happy as anything. You know? Uh, Something is so wrong. And he looks so much like Beto O'Rourke to me. So much like Beto O'Rourke. I don't know. It's like, are they related? I don't know. Or double gangers, maybe double gangers. They are just so much, and their movements and everything, they just remind me so much. Tell me if you think so too, because it really does. Okay, so there's the bullet doesn't fit, but the Mormon faction playbook does. Absolutely. Um, Make sure. Oh, this is a good one too. I like this map too. I really like this map. Here's Greenland. Here's Canada. Here's the United States, Central Mexico, and Central America, and then here you have South. Well, would you call that Central America? You have the Gulf of America right here, right? And you have Ecuador. Ecuador's right. Ecuador is in total alliance with President Trump, and they're going after the cartel. They're going after the CJNG. the very cartel that, it seems like Greg Abbott really likes. He likes the CJNG. He likes those flesh peddlers. He likes those human flesh eaters. It seems like it. It really does. When you entertain, and protect them, and yeah, um, accept gifts from them. Yeah, it seems like he likes those human flesh peddlers. Um, but Ecuador doesn't. Ecuador doesn't, and Ecuador has now teamed up with President Trump, and now they are absolutely counterterrorism. So it's going to be interesting who gets the job of Joe Kent, because Joe Kent was National Counterterrorism Center, and now they're really going after and working the counterterrorism. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I don't know why that Joe Kent didn't do that, and I don't know why he didn't scrutinize the plane that he absolute had access to. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of questions there for us, and and it doesn't make sense. But for Trump, things make plenty sense because this article is all about Trump saving America, saving Mexico. So he's saving Mexico from the cartel's grip, and the cartel is money laundering, y'all. They or and embezzlement. Don't forget all of the money, billions. We're hearing it's billions that was embezzled. And Cesar Duarte is like, top embezzler, right? Top embezzler. Um, so Ecuador wants no part of that criminal activity, so they are going hard after the criminals there in Ecuador. So, and Ecuador, if you know, bordering on Peru, with yeah, bordering on Peru. That's where, oh, Colombia, bordering on Peru and Colombia. Um, all this drug, this white powder drug, right? You know what it is. Um, that it's just very, very deadly, and Ecuador wants to be rid of it, totally rid of it. So, yeah, so they're saying that President Trump saved the world, saved Mexico, saved Mexico. Um, Here we go. This is the guy that dressed up as a blonde in this outfit and to do this meme about a conservative woman, and everyone was like, "Oh man, the acting as a conservative woman, well, that really jives with acting, right? Acting. Erica Kirk acted like she was a conservative woman, but she wasn't. Isn't. I mean, clearly, I don't know what makes you a conservative woman. I don't know. I don't think it's what she's done. Okay, I don't think so. So, and that's okay. She needs to come out to who she really is. We'd like to know who she really is. That would be very helpful. So, but they were saying, okay, so she's going to go after the actor's going to go after the actor, and but the story is the truth is crazier than fiction. The the truth is stranger than fiction. And she didn't go after him because she really how why? She can't. So anyway, so that was in the news, and it's just all about the being an imposter, being fake, and that's all over Richard's case. We have so many people that are fake, and they come in and they say they do one thing, but they're just fake workers, right? So yeah. Yeah, it makes you wonder. So that's uh oh gosh, and this is what I really want to talk about is this here. Um, wow. So this is the Freemason, the French Freemason members that are on trial, 22 of them facing charges of murder in Paris. They were Freemason. They're in Paris and they got pretty nasty. They took life. They took life. And so now they're on trial. And this whole case, I hope that you get a drink, and it's a little bit long, all the explaining, all the research that we did, but it really comes together because it shows you that people can be in like secret societies or a secret group, and they can be intelligence and the police and the teachers and the this and the that. And they can retaliate against people that go against, maybe a certain plan, in their community. But then it escalated to really targeting them like they did Richard. And before you know it, you're in a death squad, right? You're in a death squad. So yeah, and this is uh, something you need to know. Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism, the first book of Mormonism had a whole bunch of quotes of Shakespeare in it, and they had to go back there. I think they have 600 edits, uh, more than that, maybe, in the Book of Mormon. Yeah, but he was a Freemason, and yeah, so I just think that that's important because there's a real connection with how they operate, what kind of blueprint they were using, what kind of roles were they giving out, and then in Richard's case, the same thing. You can just see it everywhere. So, yeah, this is really important to connect the Mormon faction with the way this French Freemason members were acting. And they're accused of taking someone's life, you know. So that's why that was really important. And I think, y- talking about the rituals and everything, I don't know if I can do that tonight. It's just like maybe tomorrow. I it, it's so bad, y'all. It's so bad. So it's here for you to really read and dive into. So yes, and President Trump absolutely promises today that he is open for business. And he has to deal with what's going on there in Iran, at the same time that he's dealing with everything else. Because I mean, it's just amazing that that we see how he's doing so many tasks at one time. And he's getting through it. It's just amazing. He's a really amazing man, and um, there's been so many attacks on him, and if there was any other link that we don't know about, I think it would be out there. So, we'll see what happens. But until then, we are absolutely um, supporting and MAGA, and we just don't even think there's. I mean, it's such a safe situation that we're in because um, there we know the scrutiny. We know the scrutiny, and of course, that has failed when it comes to Alejandra de la Vega with her birth certificates questions and then being on the security age boards. It's really strange. It's really, um, yeah. Does money pay? Does money pay for that? Does money pay for the county clerks to manipulate documents? Is there a problem with document manipulation? We know in Mexico there is. We know in Mexico there is because of Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and her daughter, right? We know that for a fact. And did they bring that over? Did Alejandra open the door for the cartel and the cartel alliances and the infiltration and the Trojan horse and into the United States, into El Paso, bring this all in and profit off of all of it? Was she targeting um, uh, service members, female service members? Was she targeting children? Was she targeting oil and gas? Any kind of competition? Was she targeting? You know, um, Absolutely. Did she know and um, do this whole funeral fraud that ended up being Plenitude Crematorium with Rosa Maria Purchase Arellano Caron and her family? Because where are the arrests for that? Over 400 bodies. Where are all the identifications for that? Why didn't they even ask the United States, that has the top technology for identifying remains? Why didn't they offer to, ask for help with that? Um, Very clear that this is a criminal organization, a terror criminal organization that is transnational, right? Very clear. So, thank you, everyone, for coming on tonight. Just a lot of documents that we've been doing today and filing because, just to let you know, we don't just post, we don't just come on and do a live stream. We are absolutely doing the investigation. And with that, we have to identify the crimes and we have to document them and then we have to file them. We have to file them with all the different, and this is international, y'all. So this is, um, you know, this is international. So you're talking about multiple countries involved in this. So, um, yeah, it's really positive. Things are moving forward so fast that I have to come on at almost 2 o'clock in the morning every night almost now. But uh, but it has to be done because what they did to Richard was an act of war, and that's why President Trump has engaged like it's war because it is. It was an act of war, and you see the whole Maduro to Cuba to everything going on in Central America, what's going on in Ecuador, working with this um, his allies to go after the CJNG and the Sinaloa, the remnants of it, because there's these remnants. He's going to well, he says he's determined to end it. And therefore, you have Mexican media now saying that President Trump is saving Mexico, right? Is saving Mexico because Mexico was in such dire straits as a narco state. And now um, to bring them back to a sovereign country is just a beautiful thing, and get them out of the clutch of the cartels, which of course the Mormon faction, which of course uh, you know America has played a huge part in all of that because of all the trafficking. So this is an internal, saving Mexico is an internal war. It is with those that had that the likes of Alejandro de la Vega opened the door to and brought into the United States, um, and those in the United States that absolutely participated in in all of this manipulation and evil, um, be, making an alliance because they there had to be people in the United States, in the intelligence community, in the security community, in the government agencies to allow the door to be open to make the alliances with the cartels and to um, really put out a culture that would demand the drugs and all the other vices that they were trafficking and promoting. So, and to compromise people, they have to compromise people so that they won't ever speak up, right? That they cannot become whistleblowers, that they have no really moral foundation to become a whistleblower. And that's why you see this downgrade in our culture because that's the way they wanted it so that they could exploit not only Mexico, but the United States as well. Not only the United States, but Mexico, and not only United States and Mexico, but Central America. And now we're hearing that even Albania was in conjunction with like our alliance with Ecuador to bring the drugs and everything over to Europe. So it expanded over to Europe and just terrible, just a terrible monsters that wanted to bring down our beautiful countries. And so, we're going to fight, fight, fight for Richard's remains and for accountability and for our countries. So thank you so much, everyone. And I hope you join in by sharing, sharing, sharing and fight, fight, fight. There's so much hope going on right now because it's all being exposed. Do you know what it takes to be exposed like this with El Mayo and El Chapo and El Mencho, the CJNG, the Sinaloa cartel, the heads of the Mormon faction cartel being Alejandro de la Vega and Paul Foster and Woody Hunt and all, and then to even hold, to scrutinize them with their positions, with their birth certificates. And then to know that Alejandro de la Vega is good friends with Cesar Duarte and his wife, Bertha Fong, right? And all of that. Bertha Fong needs to be charged in the States. She needs to stay in the States for her own safety, but also to pay back, everything that she did with all the embezzlement. Um, yeah, and they're all connected in this group, right? And when you see the positions, and we'll be posting that up, the positions, and you can look it up too, all the positions that Alejandra de la Vega had, you're like, what? And everything comes together. What her mother did, what her father did, what she's done, everything comes together with the shelters, yeah, the children's shelters, the women's shelters, with the gas, the Hochikol, right, is at and I don't know if I said that right, but the fuel theft and then all of the trafficking from Fort Bliss, it all starts making sense, and you see their playbook clearly. And the French Freemason um, a trial that's going on right now with the 22 individuals that were engaged in taking life, that were police, that were intelligence, that were in the military, all of that. And they escalated their retaliation to taking life. Um, when you see that trial and read through it, and I hope that you do, we posted it. It just is exactly what's like happening at the border. So that's why I thought that that was so important because there's scrutiny going on in Paris, and the world is small after all, right? That you have the mayor of El Paso's brother having to plead guilty, right? So, yeah, accountability has come to El Paso, and so that's good news. So please share, share, share.